Hello everyone, this is H.M.O.C. and I just want to say thank you to all my old subscribers and welcome my new subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload videos. So as we continue to gear up for our holiday craft season, I am going to be making some Bathbomb cupcakes today, and I thought I would bring you along as I make these holiday scented cupcakes. For my base, I'm going to start to sift my dry ingredients into my bowl. I'm going to sift everything together. That's the baking soda, the citric acid, the Epsom salt, and any other ingredients, dry ingredients that I need to sift, just to make sure there are no big clumps or anything like that going into the mix. I lay my Epsom salt down over my cornstarch because the cornstarch is so light and it just helps it to not be so airborne when I sift it through. So now that I have all my dry ingredients sifted together, I'm going to just come in with my gloved hand and make sure everything is well incorporated. So I'm going to do that for a few seconds and then move on to the wet ingredients. So now I'm just going to make sure my light oil, or in this case my apricot kernel oil, is distributed throughout the dry ingredients, because I'm going to be splitting this batch into two different scents, as you will see in a moment. So I want to make sure that oil is well dispersed into my dry ingredients. So I mix this probably for about a minute or two, depending on how much I'm making. So now that I have my base split in two batches and I have my mold ready, I'm going to start adding my colorant. I'm going to make one yellow base and one a red base. The yellow base is going to be sugar cookie, and then I'm going to make the red into holiday candy. So I'm just making sure my colorant is well dispersed throughout my base before I add in my fragrance oils. So once I add my fragrance oils, you can really see how the color intensifies. That's why you don't want to add too much color at the beginning, because it will intensify once you add your fragrance oil to your mix. So once I have my fragrance oil all mixed in, I'm going to use witch hazel as a binder. Some people use alcohol. I find witch hazel works great for me, so that's what I use. So now I'm going to just pack my base into the mold. I'm just going to use a paper towel on one side to keep all of my red in one side and my yellow in another, so it doesn't go into the other side. Now I'm just going to pack it in there, making sure I leave a space or a gap around the sides so my topping has something to adhere to. So now I'm just switching the paper to the other side so I can put the yellow in and keep it out of the red. And I will do the same thing, pack it in there and leave a gap around the side so I can adhere my top to the actual paper, because like I said, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't adhere to my bath bomb. And I find this method works really great if I put a little, I call it a shelf sort of thing, and flatten off my top. So that works really great. So once my bases are done, I'm going to let them dry for 2 to 3 days. And then I'm just going to take my brush and brush any debris that might have gotten in between my mold and my liner, because I've ripped so many liners trying to get it out of this metal mold where a little bit of that base has made it stick to the mold. So I'm going to do that really quick, and this is all I use this brush for. So now my bases are dry and they're ready to get the toppings on them. So now I'm going to sift all my dry ingredients together, my confectioner's sugar, my cream of tartar, and my meringue powder. Now some people actually measure before they sift. I actually sift after I measure. So I put everything into on top of my sifter, on my scale, and then sift it. And that's how I do it. That's how I find it works for me, because I think if you aerate it, you don't necessarily get a true weight, because especially if you use a measuring cup, then you got all that air incorporated into your dry ingredients. So the rest of my dry ingredients, I'm going to sift right into my mixing bowl. That would be my cream of tartar and my meringue powder. And I will add my liquid ingredients right into this bowl as well. That would be basically water. Now for the water, some people swear by hot water, some people swear by cold water. I've tried both and I personally see no difference. So whatever floats my boat that day is what I use. Today I'm using cold water, and I measure it out and then I add it in slowly, because once you got it in, you can't take it out. So I'm going to mix this on high for about 2 to 3 minutes or so, depending on the weather conditions at the time I'm making it, the temperature in the soap studio. There's a lot of factors that go into this, but about 2 to 3 minutes. And I did use all my water and of course all my confectioner sugars in, and we are now mixing it. And I'll try to show you, if I can pick it up on camera, what it looks like when it's done. So now it's been mixing for a little bit. I'm going to scrape my bowl down because this KitchenAid bowl will inevitably have some kind of little divot in the bottom that holds unmixed ingredients, and time again you might get a dry spot or something down there, and I want you to notice how stiff it is at this point in time. You might be tempted to add more water. Please don't do it. At the end I'll show you consistency. It does loosen up. So I want you to take a note of the actual coloring of the batter or the topping, whatever you want to call it. It's sort of like a dull white. You will know when it's ready when it goes sort of like a glossy, has a glossy sheen to it, and you mix it until then. So right now it's a dull white, and I'll show you if I can catch it on tape what it will look like when it's done. Okay, so I've been mixing it for about another 2 to 3 minutes, probably about 5 to 6 minutes in total. And I want you to look, if I can pick this up on camera, how the sheen has changed. It has a glossy sort of coloring to it now, where it was like a flat white, and now it's sort of like a glossy gloss to it. And here you can see that the consistency is a lot looser than it was earlier. And I have not added any more water. That's why I encourage you not to add any more water at the beginning. And it's much looser, a nice consistency to pipe the tops on with. So that's what we're going to do next with this. We're going to fill our piping bag and get to piping. So this piping bag I actually striped with some green colorant. And I'm going to put my topping into this, and the other one I will color a little bit of the topping and pipe that on with it. And like I say, my topping never adheres to my base, so that's why I leave a little shelf, and it actually helps it to stick to the cup and rest in that area, and helps it to stick down. And that's why I leave that little shelf there on the basis. And you will see me struggle with the tops. The struggle is real. A lot of people use cocoa butter and different things to stick it on. I'm not going through all that trouble. They break them apart anyway, so I'm just helping them along, I say. So I'm just gonna, I usually pipe a dollop in the center. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just helps your structure to stand up. And that's what I try to do at the very beginning. And then I pretty much go around the outside. You'll see in 2 seconds. I just use a flat surface to push my piping top down. The topping down. I can't get my words out today. The topping down, and then I just start piping. And as you will see, as I start piping, it doesn't want to stick, as you can see here. So I just hold it and put it on there. And that's the all important, what I call my shelf, that helps it to stick. It actually kind of adheres to the paper liner, and that's how I get my topping to stick. So I just go around the outside and bring it into the center, and that helps the structure to stay up and not fold down in the middle area, the middle portion, so you have a good base for that top to stand up and it doesn't fold down or fall over. So this is my waste not, want not mentality. I need to get every single last drop out of there. Since these are little Christmas motif, I have these little sugar toppings, I'm going to call them. And I'm just going to put a few on each one. And here they are finished. I put a little bit of extra colored sugar on them and they are ready to go. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and click that notification bell to be notified when I upload videos. Thanks again and have a great day.